So this video, I'm going to talk about hair loss. This has got to be one of the most questions I get asked about is hair loss during cancer, and how I felt, what I did, what happened, what was my choices, that kind of thing. So let's talk about that today. So I was told, after I got told that my treatment plan was going to be 10 years and stuff like that, which I've done other videos on if you wanted to see all them first. But my oncologist said to me, she said, on your first round of chemo, you'll probably lose your hair a week to 2 weeks after your first round of chemo. That just felt like the biggest slap in the face for me, and that was the first time I cried. I didn't cry when I got told I had cancer. I didn't cry when I was told what was going to happen. But the minute they said you're losing your hair, I just cried. And the reason for that is purely and simple, is you lose control. You can't control that, and once you feel like you've lost control over something, that's just heartbreaking. And I feel like I was going to lose my identity, because I mean, your hair is something that you choose how you want your hair on a daily basis. You get up in the morning, if you're having a lazy day, you scoop it up in a bun. If you're going out, you make an effort. That is, something that it's your comfort blanket. And when you know that's going to go and you're going to have none of it, well, now your comfort blanket's gone and you're not going to look like you anymore. And that absolutely broke my heart. So that being said, she did tell me that I could try this thing called a cold cap. Never heard of it before. So she was explaining it to me, where it is a gel cap that they put extremely tight to your head, and then you have this strap that goes on that basically squashes it to the head. And the science behind it really is that it will cool the scalp down to -5, so which will then stop the blood flow to the roots of the hair, which will then stop the chemo from getting to the roots of the hair, so then the hair won't fall out. I was told it was very, very painful, and if you can get past the first 10 minutes, then you're kind of good to go on the rest. I had it on for about 2.5 hours each chemo. You have to have it on at least half an hour to an hour before your chemo, while you're having your chemo, and then half an hour to an hour after the chemo. So it will prolong your treatment time. Now, once you've started the cold cap, if it's not for you and you really don't like it, you can take it off, but you can never then go back to it. So it was nice having that choice that, at least I might as well give it a go, because if I didn't like it, that's it. I couldn't have then gone on to my second, third chemo and then said, oh, actually, can I have it now? Because there'd have been no hair there to actually do it with. So if you're going to try it, you need to try it from the first chemo. So I gave it a go. Me personally, I didn't find it painful, extremely uncomfortable. I found it very, very uncomfortable. But it gave me an instant migraine. The second it went on, the migraine just hit. Now, whether that's what they meant by painful, I don't know. But I had that feeling the whole way throughout. And the minute they then took it off, the migraine went. So if that's what they mean by pain, I would tend to look at it as more of it gave me an instant migraine. And if you can stand that pain for a couple of hours, then it'll be okay. The worst bit for me was the strap that I did. It was awful. I hated that just feeling like so restricted. The other thing is with that, you can only wash your hair once a week at the most with an extremely mild shampoo, and you can only brush your hair, well, you can't actually brush your hair, you have to use like a wide tooth comb. You can't tie it up. You've got to be extremely careful. So I just felt very unkept. I really did. And I ended up losing about 60 to 70% of my hair anyway. So I wouldn't really say it worked for me. Proud that I'd done it, really proud that I'd done it, but I wouldn't actually say that it worked fully for me. I ended up losing the whole of my hair on the top of my head. And then the back just really thinned out. It was just like a rat's tail, and it was just wispy and dry and horrible. So looking back, I'm pleased I tried it, and I'm proud that I'd done it all, but I wish I just stopped it on the first one and then just cut it, because when all my chemo had finished, I ended up, because I still left it quite like longish, and once my chemo had finished, I ended up cutting it into a pixie style, which I loved that hairstyle. I felt great in that hairstyle. I know when I'm older and I want to cut my hair short, if I wanted to, I'm going to go back to that pixie style again, because I loved it. I honestly, I felt amazing in it. So I kind of like, looking back now, I wish I'd played around with some hairstyles before my chemo started. Just cutting it all different styles just to see what kind of suits me, and then just let it fall out, to be honest. Yeah, so that's something I wish I had done. Your hair does hurt when it falls out. You kind of almost know what part's going to fall out next, because it's extremely sore to touch. So you do know when your hair, and it's same when it grows back, it hurts when it grows back as well. That's all the nerve endings, so that is a normal thing if you're feeling that. That's all the nerve endings with it growing back and falling out. But yeah, so my hair started to fall out it was actually day 17, I think it was, after my first chemo, and even though I'd cold capped, it was just coming out in clumps. And the other thing that no one tells you about is the first place you lose your hair, and that would be your private area. No one told you that, but that is the first place you actually lose your hair, and then the rest of it goes. Now, losing it on your legs and your arms was great, because I had my chemo in the summer, so I didn't have to shave, so it was great. Eyebrows, yeah, okay, you lose your eyebrows. I just used to draw mine on, to be honest. That didn't really bother me. No one had a clue. I just used to draw them on every day. You can even get some stencils. If you're not confident to draw them on, you can get that, or if you know beforehand, you can get them tattooed and stuff like that before your treatment starts. But that's something you'll need to talk to them about and your oncologist about. Nose hair, oh my God, you lose your nose hair. Worst thing about that is that your nose will just drip. You'll be talking to someone and your nose is just literally just streaming. It's just so embarrassing. But yeah, it's those little things. So carry a tissue around with you all the time. Eyelashes. Now your eyelashes don't fall out. Well, mine actually didn't fall out till I think it was 6 weeks after my last chemo. Now I had 4 rounds of chemo. So it was about 6 weeks after that. So it probably would have been around, if I went the full, if I had the full 6 rounds, which I didn't end up actually having, it probably would have been round 6 of my chemo is when I would have probably lost my eyelashes. I had really long eyelashes before, and they've grown back quite short and stubby now, and I'm hoping that they will go back a bit nicer. But the other thing no one tells you about is that when your eyelashes actually grow back, they will all fall out again. You tend to like lose them twice, and that's just because of the natural cycle of your eyelashes. So obviously they shred naturally, and when they've all lost at the same time and then they all grow back, they will all kind of fall out, and then afterwards they'll then just stagger it, so you won't lose them all at one go. But yeah, no one tells me that, and I speak to so many women about it now that they always lose them the second time, so just be mindful of that. Could happen to you as well. I had a wig. I didn't really wear a wig. I didn't get on with it purely because it was the summer, it was hot, I had hot flushes, my head was so sore, and I just didn't like it. It just felt tight and horrible on my head, so I just wore scarves and beanie hats, which was great because, you know, you make your own style up. And when I had my beanie hat on, no one knew there was hardly any hair under there anyway. So that was great. No one had a clue. I used to match it with my clothes and stuff. So you can have fun with that. Just be mindful as well, when your hair grows back, it probably won't grow back to what your hair was like before. So I had really straight hair, and now I've got really curly hair, and it grew back a lot grayer than I actually wanted it to, because it can grow back a different colour as well. But mine did grow back to my natural-ish colour, which is dark, but a lot more natural highlights, shall we say. But you can dye it, it's fine. That's all good. But I'm straightening it now just so I've got a bit more control over it. But yeah, it's, so if you wanted to see my kind of like my hair journey, it is on Instagram, which is Claire versus Cancer. My pictures and everything are all on there. And in my highlights, you'll see I don't tend to really have my cap on as much, or my beanie hat or my scarf on as much. I just have it when I'm at home, just kind of let my head breathe, to be honest with you. But hair loss is one of the hardest things I've ever been through emotionally. And please don't say to someone if they're going through any type of hair loss, you know, it's only hair, it will grow back, blah, blah. They are feeling like they have lost control. They are feeling like they are losing themselves. They have lost their identity, and saying things like that will never make them feel better. If anything, it will make them feel more like worse for feeling that way. So just take each day as it comes, go with it. It is extremely hard, but you will get through it. I'd say I speak to so many women when I was going through it on Instagram. I found loads of people going through the same thing as me. So please reach out to me on Instagram if that's what you wanted to do. If you wanted to ask me any more questions, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, so this is actually 11 months growth after my last chemo, it took quite a little while to start growing after my last chemo. But yeah, so this is basically 11 months growth. So I'm extremely impressed with that. I'm really happy with that. But yeah, please reach out if you need to talk to anybody about it, or if you've got any more questions with the cold cap or anything like that going through your journey. I am here if you need any help. Thank you.